And happy Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. And this is what I call my morning musings. I'm on my second or third cup of coffee here, starting out the day, sharing some thoughts with you on the eschatology of the parables of Jesus. We're looking at the rich man and Lazarus. This is without a doubt a fascinating story. We are told that here's a rich man and there's a poor man, Lazarus. The rich man was clothed in purple and fine linen, suggestive, it seems to me, in the imagery of the parable, of the priesthood and Judah and Jerusalem. That's taken from Revelation 17, Revelation 18. Now, Abraham is depicted as being in Hades. By the way, someone asked me, well, how do you know he was in Hades? The rich man went to Hades, but it doesn't specifically say that Abraham was in Hades. Well, we have to understand that the word Hades means realm of the unknown, or realm of the dead. Hades, all by itself, did not designate good or bad. It was an umbrella term. Well, it's fascinating and important to understand that Abraham, and we're going to focus on him right here because understanding the story of Abraham is absolutely critical to understanding the story of eschatology. Hebrews chapter 11 tells us that Abraham was promised a heavenly, epuronios, inheritance. He was promised a fatherland, patrida is the Greek word. So he was promised a heavenly fatherland. Okay, he was promised a city. That's Hebrews chapter 11, verses 11 through 16. While he was alive, he did not receive it. Jesus said, Abraham longed to see my day. He saw it and was glad. Now, what was it Abraham looked for? A heavenly fatherland, a heavenly city. Oh, but that's not all. Abraham longed for the better resurrection, Hebrews 11:35. But here in Luke chapter 16, in the story of the rich man and Lazarus, Abraham has clearly not received the heavenly fatherland. He has clearly not inherited or entered into the heavenly city, which, by the way, is Zion, Hebrews chapter 12, 21 and following. He is depicted as still dead in Hades. Now watch this. In Matthew chapter 8, verse 11, we have a story of the centurion who approached Jesus and said, Master, my servant is lying ill at home at the point of death. Please heal him. And Jesus said, I'll come. And the man said, no. You don't have to come to my house. Just speak the word only, and my servant will be healed. And Jesus uttered those incredible words, I have not found such a great faith in all of Israel. And verily I say unto you, many shall come from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom. Well, what's the kingdom? Guess what? It's the heavenly fatherland. It's the heavenly city. It's the better resurrection. Now, here's what you've absolutely got to see. Shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob at the table in the kingdom. Here's what I want you to catch. This is the image, this is the echo of what's known as the Messianic banquet. Scholars of all stripes are agreed on this. It is taken from Isaiah chapter 25, verse 6 and following, in which the Lord said, in which Yahweh said, I will make on this mountain. What is this mountain? It's Zion. It's the Zion of Hebrews chapter 12 of the heavenly city, the heavenly fatherland that Abraham looked forward to. I will make on this mountain a great feast, a feast of fat things, a feast of wine on the lees. And now watch this, verse 8, I will destroy death. We have therefore the messianic banquet, i.e. the kingdom, and resurrection hand in hand. Jesus, or Hebrews 11 says, what? Resurrection, Zion, i.e. the city, and the heavenly fatherland. Where's the hope of Abraham? In Matthew 8, Jesus said, many will come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're the dead. They've been in Hades, but they'll no longer be in Hades. Where would they be? At the messianic banquet, through resurrection. Okay, when would that be? Jesus is clear. He's emphatic. He's explicit. It would be when the sons of the kingdom are cast out. The parallel of that is a text we've looked at. In Luke chapter 13, Jesus said, you, speaking to that audience, his contemporaries standing there at that time, you yourselves will be cast out when you see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob setting down in the kingdom. The story of the rich man and Lazarus was told in a context of promises unfulfilled, of Abraham still longing for, expecting, looking for the eschatological consummation. The law and the prophets were in effect while he was in Hades. But he looked for the heavenly fatherland. He looked for the heavenly Zion. He looked for the better resurrection when he could sit down in the resurrection messianic banquet. And Jesus said that would take place when the sons of the kingdom, O covenant Israel, was cast out. This agrees perfectly with Daniel 12 that foretold the resurrection, quote, when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, unquote. Daniel 12, verse 7. Wow. Say, thanks for joining me so much for this morning's morning musings. I hope you can see where the parables point us to a greater, clearer, more perfect understanding of biblical eschatology. When Jesus referenced Abraham to that first century audience, Abraham in Hades, it conjured up that entire prophetic matrix. And it tells us, along with Matthew 8 and Daniel 12, when the resurrection was to take place, and Abraham would no longer be in Hades. He would be in the new heaven and the new earth. Look, go to my website, order my book, The Last Days Identified. www.eschatology.org, BibleProphecy.com. Mention that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll refund your shipping, saving you $5. Thanks again for joining me. Look, please, have a safe weekend. Have a blessed weekend. Lord willing, we'll see you back here on Monday.